He does not really get so angered and enraged that he would say, how dare you ask such a question? As many teachers today might say, what kind of question are you asking? But look at the calmness of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the coolness of mind and the firmness of intellect, that he tells him, would you prefer this, the question that you have asked, O Arabi or Bedouin, would you prefer this for your sister? What is this teaching us? The person asked the question, can you give me permission to do zina? He doesn't give him an answer, he gives him an answer in the question. Would you prefer this to happen for your own sister? It's a common logical answer. No brother in their any constant cycle of mind would ever say yes. Of course, it would be no. But look at the audacity of the person. He goes on to say, and second time, can you give me permission to do zina? And again, second time, Rasulullah replies back, the kind and gentle teacher and counselor, would you prefer this for your own sister, daughter? He said no. And the third time Rasulullah said, would you want this for your own mother? Case closed. He did not have to give him an explanation, a lecture, a bayan, or a khutbah, or a whole book. He explained in 3 questions. The person was adamant, asking 3 times, and Rasulullah also each time with his calmness and coolness and his gentleness and kindness informed him in the same demeanor 3 times. And the person got his answer very clear. He did not ask anything after that. And this is what Allah is telling us in the Quran. In all of this incident, what do we see? What's the silver lining in this, as they say in this country? What is the reading between the lines in this incident, that the person came with this courage or audacity to ask permission for zina? What are we learning in this message that Rasulullah is teaching him and for the whole of humanity till the day of judgment? What is the underlying principle? And that is the method of communication. How to implement in the mind of the student, in the understanding of the student, in such a way that they can get the answer in the limited amount of time. As Rasulullah ﷺ is also informing us in this, that he has a desire, he has an earnest desire for this person not to commit zina. So he's informing him in these 3 questions so that that person stays away, far away. Because if a person thinks of their sister, of their daughter, of their mother, and they think of this issue, this horrific act, they would never even think about it. So the way of communication is showing the earnest desire, the raghba, as we say in the targheeb, as we say in Arabic language, the motivation and desire to let the person be on the straight path and they don't dwindle and stray away, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts it so beautifully in the Quran, as we heard also yesterday and in many speeches, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells in Surah Tawbah, the last 2 ayahs of Surah Tawbah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us, لَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ. What is this telling us? There has come to you a prophet to teach you. From who? Min anfusikum, from one of you, from yourself, not an alien, not from somewhere else. And there's another qira'ah from Ali ibn Abi Talib that we know. There is another qira'ah of this word anfusikum, recited also as anfasikum, on the pattern of af'ala. Those of us who know Arabic language, from the root word, the fa'ala, we have nafasa. From nafas and fa'ala, you have af'al or anfas. لَقَدْ جَاءَ رَسُولٌ مِّنْ أَنفَسِكُمْ, meaning there has come to you a prophet, not only just from your own brethren, from your own people and folk, but there has come to you a prophet who is the most nafis of you, who is the most kind and most gentle, who is the most perfected in character to be a teacher, who has the credentials, the charisma to teach in that aspect. And then what does Allah SWT tell us in that ayah? Furthermore, telling us about the motivation and desire of Rasulullah to teach, about his psyche as a teacher, how he wants the students to understand, well understood, and be able to replicate that message to others. Telling us, Allah SWT telling us in it very clearly, Azizun alayhi ma'anittum, harisun alaykum, bil mu'minina ra'ufun rahim. These 3 things, 3 descriptions very clearly tell us what Rasulullah desires. Number one thing, Allah SWT telling us, Azizun alayhi ma'anittum. It is extremely hard and burdensome, cumbersome on Rasulullah what you as students of knowledge, as students of Islam face. What you, a Muslim ummah, face, it is extremely cumbersome and burdensome on him. He has a heavy heart with that how are the Muslims facing? And then on the same topic, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, harisun alaykum. He is also very, very haris, in the sense that he is guarding. He has a very earnest desire that the people learn the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, learn the meaning of Islam, and be able to implement and practice it. This is the meaning of haris. And one of the fundamental characteristics of teachers today that they do in interviews or of teacher qualification is, has the teacher desire, motivation to teach? Has the teacher the desire, motivation, and the earnest earning to make the students knowledgeable and enhance their capabilities? This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us in Surah Tawbah, verse number 128, that Rasulullah is harisun alaykum in that aspect. And what else? One of the other characteristics of a very, very dynamic teacher, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is that he is bil mu'minina ra'ufun rahim. Look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, 2 of those Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah has called Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this ayah Ra'uf and Rahim. Allah is Ar-Ra'uf and Ar-Rahim. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam bil mu'minina ra'uf rahim. With the believers, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is very, very compassionate and very merciful. Without the compassion, a teacher cannot teach, a teacher cannot perform. Without the compassion, a teacher cannot delegate the information that is to be relayed to the students. And that is what we see in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala very clearly informing us, and from the incidences that we highlighted. In conclusion, just want to leave with one more incident. The Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam informed us in that aspect of the gentleness and compassion, this compassionate behavior he had, that wherever anybody asks a question, imagine this is a convention, you're so busy, and if you're a teacher, people are flocking around you, or you are walking and people are passing by, somebody asks you a question, you say, I have no time for this. It happens, people in their busy, hectic life, in any aspect, if somebody asks you a question, whether you're a teacher or not, people are so busy that sometimes say, I'm sorry, ask later, or maybe later, I'm busy right now, I'm walking. It can happen a scenario right here. Something similar to that. Rasulullah was having a halaqah in Masjid Nabawi, and he was teaching the Sahaba. This is in Bukhari and Muslim, where Imam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani has even narrated in his Fath al-Bari that this incident was happening, and a Bedouin Arabi came from outside. As the Rawi al-Hadith, the narrator al-Hadith says, a person came from outside and we were having halaqah in the middle of that, without having the adab, the etiquettes and manners of halaqah. In the middle of it, he says, Ya Rasulullah, mata as-sa'a? Out of nowhere, just like that, throwing a spear in the middle of everything, without having the adab. There is a Prophet of Allah sitting here around with the Sahaba in a halaqah, teaching them, and out of nowhere he shoots the question, Ya Rasulullah, mata as-sa'a? O Prophet of Allah, when is the hour? When is Qiyamah? As if there is a urgency. Rasulullah did not reply back. The ruwat of hadith that have written this narrative hadith, they say we were scared that this person might aggravate, annoy Rasulullah, would irritate him. So he asked again, mata as-sa'a? Again Rasulullah did not reply back. Now by this time emotions are building. The Sahaba are sitting in halaqah, are getting really, like they say, an itch in their hand. What should we do? Should we stop this guy? What's going on? He's aggravating. He asks a third time, mata as-sa'a? And Rasulullah continues in his dars as if he's totally ignoring. So much so that the Rawi of the hadith says that Rasulullah did not want to answer his question, so he did not even entertain it. But lo, behold, wait. Here Rasulullah is teaching, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Teaching the people in the majlis al-zikr, majlis halaqah, some etiquettes and manners, and at the same time teaching that person, and at the same time teaching me and you, the Muslims of this ummah coming so many years later down the road, until the day of judgment, that do not shun anyone. He did not totally ignore. Yes, he ignored him at that moment, but look what Rasulullah says, as it says in that hadith. He said, Aina as-sa'il? After Rasulullah finished his kalam, his hadith and everything, he said, Aina as-sa'il? Where is that questioner? And he remembers. People sometimes are busy in teaching, and a person did or asked something, you may tend to forget. Subhanallah, bi abi wa ummi ya Rasulullah, anta ya Rasulullah sallam. May my father and mother be sacrificed for you, ya Rasulullah sallam. Look at his compassion and his memory, that in the middle of everything, in the midst of everything, he remembers that somebody asked me a question. He didn't answer at that time, but at the culmination of the dars, at the conclusion of the thing, he says, Aina as-sa'il? And that's why the ruwat of the hadith wrote that we thought that Rasulullah had forgotten about him, but he called him back. And he came, the sa'il, the Arabi came, and he repeated again his question. Mata as-sa'a ya Rasulullah sallam? And Rasulullah had this engaging attitude of teaching. And I finish with this, that he would always, for questions, he would ask question. Like I told you about the person who asked permission for zina, he answered back with a question. Would you like it for your sister? Would you like it for your daughter or mother? Of course the answer is a no. And here this person asks, Mata sa', when is Qiyamah coming? When is the hour coming? He answers back in a question. ماذا استعددت له? What did you prepare for it? Instead of giving all these details on what's going to be happening, which he did at the end of that, but first he asked him question, oh you the questioner, the sa'il, what have you prepared for the sa'a? Yes, you're inquisitive about the last hour, the day of judgment, but have you prepared something for that? An engaging attitude, an engaging interaction of the teacher, the kind and gentle counselor, Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.